Oh, welcome. This Hi.
Hey,
Welcome. Yes. Welcome to Transformation Tuesday for April 30th, 2024. Let's take a deep breath in pat yourself on the back. We did April.
we did it. Yes.
We did it. When you think about April it started off with that beautiful solar eclipse. And
All
at least
right.
down
Yes.
here with totality here. And I've been watching the after effects of that and the nature and the growth that's going on. And so we're April 30th, 2024. So Transformation Tuesday, we are paradigm shifters, and Paradigm Shifters is a group, a community, global community, which was my vision all along. So we're a global community dedicated to shift and uplift the
Lift.
planet.
I love it,
And
Judy.
we've been going strong every Tuesday since March of 2020, that we bring in people that I know and presenters to talk about what's going on, what's happening, and insight. So for our topic for April has been allowing allowing the power within to unfold. And last week we heard from Katie Augustine and the planet. I mean, so many cool things this month. So I'm going to do a little reading, and then I'm going to introduce you to Cynthia here. All right. So this is a little reading out of Marianne Williamson's book, A Year of Miracles. So let's take a deep breath in. And this is a reading for day 123 of 365. And it's not what I do, but rather who I am that determines the quality of my life. I center myself on the love in my heart, that I might be as a beam of light to whomever I meet and wherever I go today. I need not worry what to do or what to say, for the spirit of my true being will guide my thoughts and actions. My highest function and greatest mission is simply to be in any moment the person I am capable of being, extending the love of God through me to all the world. Spirit, God, universe, yeah. Thus I will shine and be radiant and feel the joy of my true self. So there you go. It's not what I do, but rather who I am that determines the quality of my life. And so, with that, I'm going to bring on my good buddy, our speaker for today, Cynthia Watts Murphy. So let me tell you a little bit about Cynthia. You've been here before,
I
and
have, yes.
before I'm like, oh, to be continued. You had so much to share. And so Cynthia is the founder of Love Your Legacy Counseling. I love that. A certified life mastery consultant, a co-author of the international best-selling book, Short, Sweet, and Sacred, Volume 2. And I love this part that you wrote, through an interesting evolution from professional dancer to overwhelmed mom to kidney donor to life coach. Cynthia has leveraged her experience and skill set to help professional women and mothers nurture their own dreams and enjoy more freedom and fulfillment. Boy, do we need that. For more than 30 years, Cynthia has worked as a wellness professional and a wellness professional and coach with a background in sports medicine, neuroscience, and nutrition. And Cynthia lives with her husband Brian. She loves a good cup of coffee, horses, and decorating her home with pops of color. I love it. So Cynthia, come on in here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and perhaps share a little bit of what we were talking about before, and anything that you could add about letting that power within and legacy to unfold. Whatever.
Yeah,
Come on in.
Judy, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks so much for having me here. This is a real pleasure always. And I love what you were just reading from Marianne Williamson's book because, as I shared earlier, it resonates with how I woke up this morning, which, typically I notice that, um, when I know the concept of tune into my breath so that I can be calm and present. I know that intellectually, but typically what I find myself doing is wanting to, yeah, okay, 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 get through the breath to get to what I really want to do today. And what I noticed today, which was different, which was so cool, is when I was waking up, I just made this decision. Wait a second, let me just be in this breath right now, knowing like really be here now, just enjoy this breath itself and have this be the doing that I'm doing is I'm breathing. And that just it changed the quality of my morning. And it literally was for me an example um of really allowing that power breathing me to kind of show up as and just be present. And why that's important, I guess, is because it actually feels good. And it puts everything else in a different perspective. There's no rushing and there's actual appreciation in the moment. So it was a great thing. So thank you for that beautiful reading. And yeah, so in my introduction, you heard there were a couple of things mentioned about, some things that I've done. And one of the things that is really dear to my heart that feels so precious to me and what I wanted to share today around the area of allowing the power breathing us, to allowing that power within to unfold in our lives is um, I came from, it was 2015 and it was April 2015. I'm just realizing it was April. And in my family, there had been a history of kidney disease. So I'm, it was the night before surgery. I was going to go into surgery the next morning with my brother and give him one of my kidneys. And so before that actually happened, I'm lying in bed at my mother's house because she's near the hospital where we're getting this done. And I have three young kids. It's just a little backstory. When I'm caring for them, that's all I'm doing is caring for. That's my 30 hours a day job. Okay, and feeling underwater most of the time with no time for anything else. So here I am away from that. I'm lying in bed, and my mother had sent me this recorded meditation, this guided 4-minute meditation, which was called Preparing for Surgery. She had sent it to me like a couple weeks earlier, and I thought to myself, oh, meditation, meditation. I don't want to do that. So, but here I am lying in bed Sunday night. I said, okay, if I'm going to listen to this, now's the time. So I listened to this meditation and it's taken me through this process of thanking my body in advance for healing quickly and all that stuff. And it was a doctor who was actually leading this meditation. And so out of nowhere, I hear this voice, and it's a form of my voice but it was very different from my typical thoughts. And it said, "You're not accustomed to thanking your body." And I was like, hmm. So we go through the successful surgery the next day. I wake up in the hospital bed and can't move. I'm forced to slow down. And that's when I have to be with my own self, my thoughts and myself. And as I recover, two things occur to me. They become really clear. I've been hating myself for a really long time, number one. And the second thing that I just instinctively knew was it's really important that I share my gifts and talents. So I heard those two things for myself, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't even know what my gifts and talents are. And I'll try to be nice to myself, but when you're in a pattern of never taking care of yourself, sacrificing your own needs and your own well-being for your kids or for other people, you really don't know how to change that. You can't. But so the point is, when I was just forced to slow down, that's when I was able to hear that part of myself that I hadn't heard from a long time, for a long time, that inner wisdom, which was really just guiding me toward the steps that I needed to take to make the changes that I really wanted in my life. And that ultimately led me, Judy, to learning about this transformational work. And, and as I was practicing all the things that you teach in Paradigm Shifters in my own life, um, I had this experience that I never could have produced on my own or didn't know existed. And what it was is I'm driving down the road in my minivan, and normally I'm hurrying, rushing. What can I do to help one of my kids with this and one of my kids with that? And oh my God, I don't have time. And normally that's what I was doing. But this time I was driving down the road in my minivan, and it dawned on me, hmm, I'm not feeling worried. I'm not feeling guilty about not being a good mom. I'm not feeling those things. And you know what? This is what came to me. It was this actual experience, thank you, of more time in a day than things to do in it. I was in this zone that I didn't know existed, and here I am, um, I don't know how old I was, maybe 50 years old, and I had
Oh,
never known that experience. And I
that's
could not have, and it's all because of allowing the power within to unfold and
do you
listening to that
realize
voice.
that like do you realize that that could just that one little, whatever it was, could save so much money in therapy for our kids about
Yes, absolutely, you are
I grew
so
up with a
right.
mom that was like this, and that's why I'm like this.
Yes. Yeah, great point. Absolutely.
I zone out. Yeah, but, yeah. I just have to interrupt, and I want to keep going, but you said minivan, and there's a song. Yeah, I live in Austin, Texas, and way back when, I don't even know how many years ago, ancient history, there was a children's songwriter, and the song was Minivan Mama. I'll have to dig
Oh
it
my
up for you.
gosh.
It's so funny.
I would
You
love
know,
that.
the kids think I'm a minivan mama, and at any rate, go ahead. And that is so, and that is so funny. I don't mean funny, but of course you would be like that because everybody else is like that. And if you're
Yes,
not like that, if you're chill, then there's your kids aren't progressing fast enough. They're not on target to do this and that. I'm
that's
going to miss
right.
practice. But anyway, and isn't it funny that you brought up the word self hate? So tell me a little bit more about. I mean, my ears were like ringing, and so tell me more about because the more. Thank you for being transparent about that because
Yeah.
I mean I'm like the nana, right, watching from afar this whole thing going on, and anyway, tell me more about that because I think that needs to be talked about here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very common pattern. In fact, it's almost like demonstrating in my life that a form of self-hatred. It kind of got expressed in lots of different ways depending on the stage of life I was in. But it's so easy as a mother, and it's even, excuse me, glorified to a degree for women and for mothers. If you're not working as for everyone else in your life, whether it's family or work, colleagues or kids or friends, if you're not giving with, and oh no, I can't receive. Oh, no, no, that's not. Oh, you thank. Well, I got, you like my dress. Well, yeah, it was cheap and I got it. It's like we're always pushing away and not receiving, and yet we're taught to overgive, and it's stressing everyone out. I was strung out on adrenaline. Like I could not, I mean, literally I talked to the doctors. I had to go back to the kidney doctors 6 months after the surgery for a checkup. And so this is the point I also wanted to share is, I told you that, and I'll get right back to that in a moment. I mentioned that um, that's how I ultimately got in touch with the transformational work that you do here in Paradigm Shifters, and started applying that to my life. But let me just say that it was rigorous. It was not easy to break the pattern of hurry, worry, rush, self-doubt, overgive, sacrifice self. Didn't happen overnight. So I went back to the kidney doctors and they said, and I was not able to heal. So I was home for 6 months after the surgery. I couldn't heal because I went right back into that pattern. My kids saw me, they're like, "Oh, now mom's back. She can do all the mom things she normally does." And I fell right back into that pattern, even though I'd heard from that inner wisdom that said, "Wait a second, you've been hating yourself for so long, and it's really important that you give your gifts and talents." So there's that happens, and that's okay. That's part of the process. So it's okay if it doesn't, So anyway, I go back and they said, "Cynthia, in order to heal, you need support." Like they told me that, this woman, the doctor told me that. And she knew I had a life coach at the time, so she said, double up on your life coaching. I was like, okay. So that kind of gave me permission to take more care of myself. And it was sort of sad in a way because I couldn't give myself that permission. Anyway, so that's, that I don't know if that's what you were asking for, but that's yeah, the self-hate. And yeah. uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
just the first layer of transformation for me. Um, the next way that it showed up that I wanted to share, in terms of things not working, and then again being reminded, wait, let me allow. So just in deciding to partner with the part of ourselves that is more than our current ways of, believing, or ways of reacting, or ways of thinking, or ways of behaving, or feeling, even the part of us that's more than that. Like when you decide to partner with that part, what can happen is just magical, right? It's magical, and it's something like, it's like the zone, being in the zone of more time in a day than things to do in it. Like, in what universe does that exist, right? Um, so yeah, about a year and a half ago, I had gotten to a point physically where I couldn't move without pain. And I'd been a professional dancer. I'd been an athlete my whole life, basically. So I was accustomed to being able to feel good in my body. But here I was, I literally couldn't move. And I'd been to 3 or 4 years of different rehabs. I tried everything I knew how. And I was just so frustrated because I was like, wait, I've done this and I've done this. I've checked all the boxes. I've changed my eating. I do this. And I wasn't having the results that I wanted. And I was so frustrated and really just pissed off at myself, honestly. I was just angry. I was resisting the current circumstances of that I found myself in. And my coach at the time said to me, made a suggestion, and she said, what if you took your focus off of trying to do all the right things, and actually stop the doing, and just allow yourself to be, and celebrate what is working. So, and I knew this, I was trained in this, but she suggested, I'm like, okay, I didn't want to do that. There was a part of me that was like, I don't, yeah, but I just want this problem fixed. I don't want to, think that think in a different way. But I did. I was willing because I couldn't do anything else. It wasn't getting any better. So I took my focus off of trying to fix it. And we're taught that that's the right way to do it. Like, do everything you can to kind of fix whatever problem you're in. It's push energy, and it's make it happen energy, right? So I started putting my focus more and more on what is working. And my health has transformed over the past year and a half. I mean, literally, I feel so good in my body. And part of that was holding a vision for how I would love to feel and who I wanted to be in the world, right? So that's completely changed. And so the point that I'm trying to make is to shift to a surrender to what is,
Yeah.
and that kind of the other side of that coin quickly following is allowing. And
Yeah.
and that, so that slowed me down also from the all of the trying to do everything I could do to help myself. And it was a pause. And that's when I was able to connect even more with the power that's within me to unfold in the way it does. And I can't even tell you exactly how it worked out because I just kind of surrendered. And I'm in an amazing shape. I feel awesome in my body. I'm 60 years old. I mean, I haven't felt better. So there's just real value in taking your focus off of the trying to fix the problem, and surrendering to what is working. So much is working at any given moment, right?
And I love that you're saying that, and it's and the momentum, keeping momentum going, because right now, like I mean, at the beginning, it's like, whoa, what just happened there? I just allowed myself to have a day or 5 minutes, and then for me, that's pretty scary. That's in a lot of women that I work with and I've been around. That brings up guilt that if I'm not this, then everything's going to fall apart. And it does fall apart.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's like falling apart to fall together. And I don't mean falling apart. I mean, you know what I mean. What if it needs to fall apart in order to fall together? It's
I
that in
love that.
between. I think we were taught. I was listening to Bob Proctor saying, like, every ending is really a beginning, and there's
Mm,
that in between time that's confusing.
yes.
And
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
and
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so
The
it,
momentum. How do you keep the momentum going after
yes,
you've done the it? And what are the practices that you put in place during your day to keep you in that state?
beautiful
State.
question. I love that. I love Bob Proctor too. Thank you for sharing that, what you just shared, that in between place. It is so it can be really uncomfortable. It can be where a perfect place to sprout self-doubt and all that stuff. And so what works for me and what's worked really well um, is I actually adopted a replacement thought. So anytime, and I'm telling you, it works so well for me. Um, but in order to get that replacement thought, I had to be willing to feel the discomfort and the pain of um, what I didn't want. So for example, last summer, I was at a summer vacation and I was around some family, some siblings, and it just triggered in me this pattern of believing that I had held, which was I'm the lowest on the totem pole in my family. They don't want to be around me. Then all these conversations started happening in my head. This old story, right, of why I'm not likable, why they don't want to be around me, why I'm not deserving, blah blah blah. And I noticed it, so I had to let myself feel that so that I could say, okay, well, what would be the opposite of this? And I just became curious about that. So I came up with a statement. I am lovable, likable, interesting, and fun to be around.
Say that again.
And
Say
yeah,
that
I
again.
am I am lovable, likable, interesting, and fun to be around. And that for me, that worked because that was a statement that resonated with me. So each person will pick a statement that resonates for themselves. But so anytime so it was such a gift that I was presented with this discomfort, with this in-between place of, being reminded of this past that really was so uncomfortable, so disempowering. I wanted to shove it away, but instead, so okay, great. So it kept coming up all week long. I was on that vacation. I was just like, okay, I paused it, took a breath. I am lovable, likable, interesting, and fun to be around. And so I just kept saying that. And it changed my whole energy. It changed my experience of the vacation. It's changed the pattern. And so that's one practice. There's one other practice that I use that's
And
very
we're
powerful.
we're going to take it's a they call it a pattern interrupt, right?
Oh,
In
okay.
other words,
Yeah.
a pause. In some circles, they call it pause when agitated or doubtful. And I love the fact that we're putting in this replacement thought that was pre-thought. It wasn't like we're like I'm gonna you
Mhm.
think I mean at least let's take the replacement thought before it happens, and that's like an anchor
Yes.
thought. I think
Yes.
that's
Yes.
and so anchor thought here, anchor thought there, and even do the anchor thought even when it isn't.
I love that nuance, Judy. Absolutely, because that's brilliant thank you for bringing that up too. So now I say it as part of my daily affirmations without even having to have something that I don't like come up to replace it with. So it started as a replacement thought that was deliberate. And now it's just an anchor for who I'm wanting to be today, the energy that I'm bringing. So thank you for that. That's beautiful.
Uh, well, you know what? It's so cool because the um, April we're like. allowing that power within to unfold, because those are truth thoughts, the power within thoughts. And um, and it's we're also talking about nurturing yourself too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit more. I know we're running out of time, but not really.
Okay,
We
let's
can
see what time.
go on.
Okay,
Nah, don't worry.
yes. So here's a more recent thing that has really been helpful for me to with the authentic self nurture. Like really loving whatever is, whatever does come up in me, which has really been the quickest way for me to transform my energy and the patterns to interrupt the patterns. Um, and that's it came from reading a book called Whatever Arises, Love That by Matt
Ooh,
Kahn.
let's start. Can you say that again? I want to make
Yes,
sure
sure.
everybody gets that now. What is it?
Whatever
Whatever.
it's whatever arises, love that. The
Wow.
author is Matt Kahn, Mattkahn.
Ooh, that sounds good. Okay.
And one of my uh, coach's friends told me about that book. And so I read the book and I practiced these simple things that he talks about. And I didn't even understand everything in the book, but you don't have to. And so for me, the what I've integrated, which really not only nurtures myself, but does allow, really allows the just the power within to unfold in the moments, is like whatever, so something comes up, something will come up, whatever is in line to come up that's next for to be transformed in my own being, is really what's up for me. Like, our mentor, Mary Morrissey, says the content of our life is the curriculum of our evolution. So this is sort of another way of saying that. So let me try to think of an example. So in terms of layers of self-hatred having come up and layers of in different circumstances. So I just sold a house and I had to deal with family around that. And so it brought up my beliefs and patterns around my relationship with money, receiving money for a sale, um, my like how do I stand up for myself and ask for what I want, because I typically wasn't used to doing that. So these feelings of insecurity came up big time, like big time for me. And so instead of being, I was whelmed at a point. So noticing it, right? So noticing the whelm and then allowing, because of this, my practice with this book is just to really, okay, this is what's coming up, and recognizing this is a part of me that has not felt like it's been heard, that really wants resolution. And so I pour my love onto that part, and I tell that part the truth about it. Like, thank you for coming, thank you for sharing your voice. Um, you've been, I know you're here to help me. You have a positive intention. And so not trying to shove it down or push it away, but really embracing it as if it's the little child of innocence within us, like that kind of feeling. And how would I treat an innocent baby? Like, what would I tell that baby? How would I hold that baby? How would I love that baby? And just to treat that small part, that old part of me, like that way, and that young part. And and so just loving that just instantly transforms it. And so I was able to kind of have these insecurities come up and just be felt and loved and integrated into more love, just more of who I am. I'm not sure if that makes sense, and it's a little bit
Oh,
amorphous in my description, but
absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, yeah, that's what it is. That's what the transformation is. Right there, what you
mm,
just said, allowing it to come up, to be transformed, allowing it's coming up in one form and transforming into another form, which is love.
yes. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. That's
I'm just,
beautiful.
yeah, well, I'm just looking around my room here and like all the different things that have transformed. And even in the storms down here, the violent storms and the lightning and everything, the sun's out and boom, flowers. And
Yeah, oh, right.
so that's what it is. Well, so there you go. I love that. That what a great ending of April and beginning of May, and what a great segue into this month of May, which I look as a month of nurture because it's
Mm,
like Mother's Day and the nurturing stuff. So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So is there any other one tool you'd like to leave us with? And then I have another question after that. I know that
I think.
the you talked before about your breathing when it comes up
Yes.
too. I mean, it's
Yes.
up to me. Yeah, tell me more.
Yes. Okay. So I wrote something down here.
Okay.
Well, here's another tool. And I don't know how this is going to land really, but um it's making peace with what I'm afraid might happen. At- And the reason why I do that is because it's it stabilizes my nervous system and really allows me to be in a calm place where I can welcome in that inner power. So for example, when anytime any of each of us is striving to create something more, or in my case, for example, I'm one of the things I'm doing is building more of a coaching business, right? So in stepping out of my comfort zone to help more people and to get more training that I would love, and to share in different ways, all those different things, it's uncomfortable for me because it's unknown to me. So what I've noticed is sometimes fear comes up. Like I even mentioned coming on this call today, I felt a little nervous, right? So, so sometimes when that happens ahead of time, I say, okay, I'm like real with myself. Okay, what could really happen here? Um, and, and I make peace with, okay, if I flub up, so what's going to happen? So I let my nervous system know that I actually am safe, and any outcome is actually a good outcome. And it changes my relationship and my perception, or my perception of the circumstance that I'm in, of what I'm trying to do, and it changes my energetic relationship to it.
So this is so great. I okay, everybody write this one. Make peace with what can happen.
Any
I
outcome.
I never
My
heard it.
my coach
I
my coach told me that. I did not make this up. She helped me with this.
well, you can claim it now. It's okay. I never heard it before. But the whole thing is, it's oh, things are gonna. What if, and make peace because we know that it's a good thing if the whatever happens because we'll be growing even more and growing even more. I mean, it's easy to say now, but in the middle of it, maybe not so much. But yeah, and also, I was just having a conversation with one of my clients yesterday about flubbing up, right? Like doing it like we're gonna put ourselves out there and let people like I've got to have this down 100%. I'm like, no, no, no. People really respond to you when you flub up. They really do.
That's right.
I have a whole
Yes.
legacy of flubs. Yeah.
In fact, those are the people when people are themselves and allow themselves to just, flub up or make mistakes, or not, whatever. I feel so connected with that person because I do it. I'm like that way every single day, but so to admit that, to say, oh my gosh, that gives me permission to be okay with me being imperfect.
When I know, gosh, we could talk on forever, but I know when I first started all this many years ago, and I would go out for training in Los Angeles, and I would like squeeze my feet into like these stupid high heel things and put on like the dress for success because I thought, well, that's what they're doing, and it's I
Yes.
look just like Mary and everybody, and I was so uncomfortable, and I just couldn't wait to kick off those shoes and everything, and it didn't work. It did not work for me. And then I was like, after many years of doing the coaching, I was on one of those success panels, and And she says, well, what would, what would you tell these newer folks? And I'm like, just be yourself.
I
Wear
remember that.
your shoes.
I was there. I was there when you were on that panel, and I loved that, Judy. Yeah, you are such an example of being yourself. It's very, very inspiring, I have to tell you.
And doing all the work about releasing the past and not fitting in, and and all that, and that is such important work to do. And I think, just out of my mouth now, I'm going to say, especially for moms who are thinking that if their kids are not a certain way, then they failed as a mom. I'm just saying my own
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
So let's wind up here with, what would you love? Let's take you into your vision, because we thank you so much for being here.
Judy, thanks
And
so much for having me here.
my minivan mama now.
Exactly.
And what would you love to have us hold for you? What would you love? Anything at all is an open buffet. What
Well,
would
this
you love?
is such a great, thanks for this beautiful, generous question. Um, what comes to my mind is because I don't see myself as having been this kind of person traditionally and historically in my life. What I would really love for you to hold for me is that I continue to bring sincere love and care to really all of my transactions and interactions, to all the people I meet with, get to help, um, because that's the kind of person I really want to be. That's how I want to show up, and it's not what I'm used to, and yet now I'm embodying that more, and it just feels so freeing to not have to feel so self-centered and self-conscious, but to be able to, okay, now I'm having so much going on already in me. I want to bring it to other people. I really want to be the person who's able to love and be loving and caring toward others and have that feel really genuine. So to do more of that, if you would hold that for me, that I show up more and more in all areas of my life with that, being that person, that's what I would love.
Okay, here we go. Wow. Nurturing. Nurture, being nurtured and nurturing. Love it. Okay, here we go. Your job is to receive.
Oh,
Your
okay.
receiver. Receiver. I'm just like, right? All right. And let us nurture you for a minute.
Mm.
Yeah, take a deep breath in. Yeah. And feeling that beautiful heart, that beautiful spirit, that beautiful caring for others that emanates from you. And we totally see that spreading globally, all
Mm.
over, wherever you are, whoever you meet. You ready? There you go.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you. I received that. Thank you so
Amen.
much. This has been such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, and this is why we called it Transformation Tuesday, because not only, like, you just helped us transform from maybe one form of thinking about who we are and who we are being, to like a whole nother level.
May I share one brief thing for those mothers out there about it's in response to what you said, which I think is absolutely accurate. Um, Mothers feel guilty because they don't know that they think if their kids aren't doing really well, that maybe they're not a good mom. Well, um, I won't break it down and unpack this now, but I just want to say that who you show up as, who you choose to be in the moment, with what around your children, with your children, that's what makes you a good mom. Is that you're consciously choosing to be a certain way with them. That's the only thing you have control over, and that's what I've learned in my own situation. So I just wanted to say
Wow.
that. It kept coming up for me after you said that, so I wanted to share.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow, what a segue into May.
Yes.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Amen. Oops. Okay, here we go. There we go.